Are you worried about the Mets this postseason because they did not win the National League East? Well, I can tell you, I am absolutely not worried at all. And in this video, I will give you 3 reasons why the Mets are lucky that they won the wild card. So, Mets fans, welcome back into the channel. Last week, we had a really rough weekend in Atlanta. But guess what? We ended up the season tied with the Atlanta Braves for first place with 101 victories. Because of these stupid playoff rules, there's no longer a tiebreaker, and the division was decided by the season series record, which unfortunately the Braves won 10-9. The good news is the Mets are the only 100-win team in New York, and they are by far the best of the wild card teams. So here's the first reason why I think the Mets are lucky to have won the wild card. No long layoff. So when they came out of that series with Atlanta, the biggest problem was their hitting. They were not getting the timely hits when they needed them. Well, they spent the last 3 games taking batting practice against Nationals pitching. They scored 21 runs, had 31 hits, hit 7 home runs over the 3-game series. I think it's an advantage that there's no time off and they can go right into the playoffs. The second reason is they're playing this series at home. All of these games are going to be played at Citi Field. I think this is going to be an advantage for the younger players, the inexperienced players like Nimmo, Diaz, and McNeil, who've never participated in the postseason. I think it's going to be great playing in front of the Citi Field crowd, who's going to be absolutely amazing. They're going to be loud. And if Diaz happens to get into one of these games and those trumpets start blaring, it's going to be unbelievable. I think the final reason that the Mets are lucky that they are the wild card team, and I think this is the biggest reason, in my mind at least, is they avoid the St. Louis Cardinals. What? The St. Louis Cardinals? Why are you worried about the St. Louis Cardinals? They only won 93 games. The Mets won 101. The St. Louis Cardinals are a perennial playoff team. They are battle tested. And, by the way, they have these 3 players, Wainwright, Molina, and this guy who's hit 700 plus home runs, Albert Pujols. Wainwright and Molina are Mets killers. I would not have wanted to face them in the second round after not having played for a week. So I think by being the wild card team, getting out of the bracket where the Braves are, I think it really helps the Mets. They can get their swagger back. Okay, sure, they're going to have to then, if they win, go in and play play the Dodgers. But guess what? Any road was going to have to go through the Dodgers. All right, if they can stay as long as possible away from the Cardinals, I think it's better for them. Let me know what you think in the comments about that. But I think the Cardinals are this type of team this year that everyone is going to love. They're going to be everyone's team that everyone is pulling for. And we all know in the playoffs, sometimes the best team doesn't win. Sometimes a team goes on a magical run. And if you look at this, this is all set up for the Cardinals to go on one of those magical runs. So, getting back to this wild card series, what do I see happening? I see it being a really, really good series. I think it's going to be very tough. I think San Diego is a really good team and has played the Mets very tough. I think in Game 1, Yu Darvish is going to give the Mets fits. He always pitches well against them. I think the Mets are going to be a little, tight coming out early in the playoffs. I think they're going to have to grind out some at-bats, and I think they're going to be okay. Not sure they're going to beat Yu Darvish in Game 1. Maybe it's going to be some sort of play that's going to go one way or another that could change this whole thing around. I think Juan Soto may play a factor, but the good news is the Mets have played against Juan Soto enough, and I have a feeling they know how to pitch to him. I think everyone is going to be focused on Alonso and Lindor, and that sets the stage for another Mets player to step up. Is it going to be Nimmo? Is it going to be McNeil? Could it be one of the rookies? I think that normally happens in big series. The pitchers focus on certain batters that they don't want to have beat you. And I think for the Mets, it's obviously Alonso and Lindor. And it opens up a opportunity for someone else to really shine. So what do I think is going to happen in this series? I think the Mets pitching is going to rebound after last week. I think they're going to pitch very well. I think the crowd is going to keep the Mets in this game and help them get their swagger back. And I think the Mets will win this series in 3 games. Tell me what you think, and if you like this video, please leave a comment below, like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next video. And let's go Mets.